Welcome to another episode of the Lone Recruiter Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clemenson, and as you guys know, if you've been joining us in January, we are doing a $1 Million Mindset series, right? So it's a bit different to what we normally do, but what we're trying to do is showcase the first 2 months this year, kick you off to a great start, and leading into the live event that we will be having at the end of February, okay? And if you haven't got your tickets yet, please go get them because they're probably almost sold out by now. But what we want to do today is introduce you to one of the guests we will be speaking with in Brisbane. And this is Natasha Olsson-Seeto. Natasha, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's probably a very familiar face if you're active in the recruitment scene because she's just been nominated President for the RCSA. So congratulations on that fresh news.
Thank you so much.
I just want to give everyone a bit of a overview of who you are because I was just talking to you off camera, super impressed. Okay, so you are a CEO of OnTalent, and your firm does executive and specialist recruitment. Is it about 20 staff you've got there? Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got 24, and we're part recruitment, and the other part is leadership development, coaching, and HR people consulting.
Right. So keep that in mind. CEO. 24 staff doing recruitment and the coaching and advisory. You've previously worked at Deloitte and PwC, so you actually have that in-house experience as well from a Big Four perspective. As we mentioned, you're the incoming president for the RCSA. You are also the deputy chair for Foodbank in Queensland. Mm-hmm. You're also a $1 million biller still to this day. I think you said 1.3 off camera. My word. Do you sleep? Do you ever get sleep?
No, never. No, of course I sleep.
Okay.
Just not much.
My first question is actually non-recruitment related. Now, make no secrets here, I'm a Swiftie, and I saw that you're the deputy chair at Foodbank. I believe she donated when she was in town to you guys. Have I got that correct?
Yeah, she donated to Foodbank Australia. So she donates to food banks all around the world as she travels, which of course we're immensely grateful for.
Did you get to meet her?
No.
Sadly, no. Great story nonetheless. Look, you know what? I'm going to kick this off with how on earth do you balance it all? Because that's a lot on your plate.
How do I balance it all? Well, I'm also a mum and a grandmother and a wife and a dog parent and a cat parent, and a daughter and a friend and an avid theatre goer. So I talk to a lot of people about managing your energy, not your time. So every day, in every moment, you can choose where you put your energy and how much of it you give or you have taken from you, one or the other. And so I'm very particular about where and how I spend my time, but also how I re-energize so that I am fit enough physically and mentally to be able to take on as much as I do. And one thing I'd add to that, every Christmas or every end of year, I sit down and I undertake a reverse bucket exercise. So I think about what I can take out of my bucket. So what's not serving me? What am I not serving? What am I not doing to its full capacity where I'm not being able to give it enough? And then I consider what I need to take out of my bucket to the space.
Love this. Oh my God, the reverse bucket. That is genius. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was kind of going to be my next question, which was around what are those non-negotiable habits or rituals that make you effective as a CEO, as a biller? And you've I think that's probably the big one there is that reverse bucket.
Yeah.
What would you be taking out of that? Give me a great example of what that might be.
So I've had various board roles over the years, and one year I was thinking about, do I need to drop one because I was struggling with time, and I got the board calendars issued to me, and one of them I just didn't have. I was going to ask them to change all their board meeting dates because it was a clash. And so that was a pretty easy one. It's like that just doesn't fit. Now, if that was Foodbank, I would have been asking them to change because I'm so committed and I adore Foodbank. But because I didn't have that thought of, I need to ask them, I knew that therefore it was the thing I had to probably step away from.
I love it. And
If I'm not
you mentioned,
fighting for it, you've got to, if you're not prepared to actually fight to give it time, it's not the thing you should be doing.
and how long have you been doing this reverse bucket?
Probably about 10 years. I'm a member of a thing called Vistage, which used to be called Tech, which is the Executive Connection, which is a CEO group, and I've been in my group for 10 years. And I actually got this off my coach, my chair. So every year we do 2 retreats as a group of 16 CEOs, and some of it's around goal setting, but it's whole person goals. And he introduced me to the reverse bucket concept. And we do some work with a fellow by the name of Keith Abraham, and he has a bit of a goal setting. I'm not much of a goal setter, which people get really surprised by, but I'm a priority setter. So I think about the things that I do and I don't want to do, and I get really clear on the don'ts. Because you've got to have room for the things I don't know that I want to do yet that I might want to do later.
100%. How often do people do things not realizing it's actually just dragging them down? You mentioned at the top your energy awareness. I think that was the word you say, which is a big thing we do on this podcast. Yeah. And it's a big part of what this tour is going to be when we come to town in February is energy awareness. And you would see it in your role. Too many people meander through the days, the week, unaware of their energy levels. And how does that actually influence their desk, their work, and the people around them? Yeah. Right? And I reckon if everyone was more self-aware just on that, the world would be such a better place.
Yep, 100%.
As cliche as that phrase is, I hate the world better place sort of thing, but it really would, because someone's bad day, bring that energy in, that bad juju, it rubs off, doesn't it?
Totally. And if I'm spending time on something that somebody else can do better or be more excited by, then I'm actually cheating the other person and possibly the client or whoever's involved of better experience. So I think sometimes as recruiters, and I've been 30 years in the industry. I've led many, many recruiters over the years. I've built many. I've encouraged many to leave the industry. And when people are second guessing their knowledge, their capability, or the homework they've done, they over-engineer processes and they do too much because they're compensating for this lack of competence and this lack of confidence, I should say, and knowledge. So you see this over-engineering, and some people in my team have said, well, your process seems so simple. And I go, well, it is. The process is simple. The science is incredibly simple, and don't over-engineer it. Clients don't need 6-page summaries. Stop writing them. It's a waste of time.
I'm the same with cover letters. Haven't done one in 20 years.
Well, I like a good cover letter.
Oh, there we go. Contentious. I've noted that OnTalent's sort of built around this concept of connecting people to purpose. It's a great tagline. And I'm curious to know, how do you stay connected to yours?
So, look, my start as a young person was, had some difficulties to it, including, I had my daughter just before I turned 18, and I was really determined. I remember standing in a benefits line and with her, and I just looked at her and just went, nah, and turned around and walked out. And had 3 jobs when she was 8 weeks old. And I've always been a grafter, which is a problem because when you get addicted to grafting, it's hard to unaddict that, if that's a word. So I was always determined to make a better life than what I was destined for. So, teenage mother, blah, 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 you can, do a whole bunch of assumptions. So my dad always said to me, and, he's a man who worked 30 years of shift work for Qantas, really hardworking. My mum's a hairdresser. She owned a salon, both really hardworking individuals. And my dad always said to me, kid, you're pretty smart. Just say yes and work it out later because you can work it out. So that's what I did. I just said yes. But the purpose bit for me means I want to extend that opportunity to others. So if through my work, through my connections and the things I do as a volunteer or corporate, in my corporate life, enables others to be able to realise their potential, to be connected to their work, to turn up authentically who they are every day, then I'm connected to my purpose. My food bank work, I experienced food insecurity as a teenage mother where I had to choose between heat and eat. Do I pay the electricity bill and eat crappy food, or do I buy nutritious food and negotiate with the energy company? Which one am I going to do? Because I didn't have the money for both. So my work with Foodbank is about food equity, and that really feeds my purpose, because now that is not a problem for me, as you'd appreciate running a reasonably successful business, I feel obligated to pass that on and my time spent. So I'm the person on that board with the lived experience who says, what about the member? What about the end recipient? What does this mean? The recruitment industry has given me an incredible suite of opportunities. You're right. I joined Coopers and Lybrand in 1996, which became PwC. And it was actually not internal recruitment in that instance. I started a contracting desk. I was a contractor hustler, if you like.
Right.
And I built that business from nothing for them with no recruitment experience. And that firm and Deloitte and the Manpower Group, where I spent most of my time, gave me so much and so many opportunities and so many possibilities. My RCSA commitment started 20 odd years ago when I started to go to events, and then someone said, join the council. And I've been on and off council for 20 something years and on the board for 8, and now, really honoured to be the president. That's about me giving back to an industry that's given me such extraordinary things and friends and experiences that I wouldn't have even imagined as a kid with a little baby, going, what the hell do I do with this, all those years ago. So my purpose is about creating opportunities for others through my candidates, through my clients, and, my own team, where people go home from work, and my team always say, I use this all the time. My mission is for people to go home from work, hug their partner, pat their dog, and have time for their kids, because they've got room in their world, because their job is not consuming them with toxicity, misaligned purpose, work they don't want to do, and being in a place where they can't turn up their full selves. So if I get my work right, particularly placing CEOs, because, man, I can do some damage, right? If I do my work well, there are more people who go home, hug their partner, pat their dog, and have time for their kids, because they've got the space in their lives to do it. Work's not stealing their personal energy from them. So that's how I keep my purpose connected.
This is just so much depth. It's incredible to hear this. Like you've turned what could have been a very average, situation into say that's quite remarkable. And not only that, the mission now is to give that to others. I actually can't think of anyone better to be the president for the RCSA. I'm genuinely excited to see what you can bring to the table over the next, few years, however long that tenure is. So I'll leave you with one question, which is, as the incoming president for the RCSA, what do you think 2026 holds? What shifts do you think recruiters need to make mentally to stay relevant or, commercially strong?
Look, I think that the whole world will change at a pace that we've never seen before, and will continue to change. The escalation of the adoption of a whole bunch of technologies. I think AI is one thing, but there's other things that will augment from AI that we don't even know about yet. There will be ways of working that we haven't even imagined in our lives in 3 years' time. So, but I believe what no one can take away from us is the humanistic part. So I believe we have an obligation to be tech adaptive, tech savvy, without losing the humanistic connection. So our value will become in what we do that machines can't do. And that's your experience, your style, your warmth, your genuine care. I don't believe AI can care for us for a minute. You can ask it to write caring words, but it doesn't actually care. And it's not even actually accurate half the time. But I think our role will be twofold, to be really tech adaptive, tech aware, and be very accepting of change and innovation, whilst not losing our core purpose for the work that we do. And I think there will be a lot of people who will attempt to make money in very, the ability to be a cowboy is way more prevalent in an environment where you can take the face away because no one sees you being dishonest. You can hide. And I think there will be a whole bunch of, whether we end up with fake recruiters, fake profiles, fake agents popping up who can do a lot of damage. So I think we're really going to have to be alive to the changes and roll. Tuck and roll.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Look, I'm going to park it at that. There is obviously so much more I want to ask you and delve into, but we're going to save that for February when we do it in Brisbane live. So once again, thank you for jumping on. That was an amazing chat.
Thank you.
It is the end of the year when we're recording this. This won't be released until January or so. So, it's time for us to wrap up the year and, get some rest so that we can kick into 2026 well. But look, if you are listening to this, it is now January 2026, and we are already rested and energized. So here we go. We're in the future. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. As always, like, share, subscribe. It helps us grow. If you haven't already got your tickets for any of the launch shows around the country, please see if there are any tickets left. There'll be links below. As always, have an amazing day, and may all your deals come true.